What's up, Cosorians? I'm Chef Margaret, and today I'll be making arancini in the air fryer. They are Italian rice balls coated in breadcrumbs and traditionally deep fried. They're a Sicilian staple, and today I'm going to show you how to make them healthier and just as delicious in the air fryer. Hit the subscribe button to become part of the Cosori community and see more recipe videos like this in the future. And to get notified every time we upload new recipe videos, which we do every week, hit the bell icon. All right, so the first step to making the arancini is to make the risotto. So I've got 5 cups of low sodium chicken stock in this little saucepan. You can use veggie stock, you can use water if you want, but make sure it's low sodium so that the end result's not gonna come out too salty. And in this pot, I have 2 tablespoons of butter that's now just melted. And to that, I'm gonna add 1 medium onion that's diced, finely diced. I'm gonna add it and kind of saute it. Add that right in. I also have 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt that I'm gonna add in with the onion. And I'm gonna bring the heat a little bit up to medium. And we're going to saute this until the onion is a little translucent. It's gonna take about 3 to 4 minutes. Just let it go. All right, so now that the onions are nice and translucent, I'm gonna add my garlic. I have 3 cloves of garlic that I've minced. Add all of that in there. And this is just gonna cook for 30 seconds with the onions. You don't want it to burn or anything. Awesome. And then right here I have 1 cup of Arborio rice, which is very traditional to use for risotto or arancini. So I'm gonna add all this rice into the pot. And I'm gonna stir it so that all of the fat from the butter, all of the onion and garlic can coat all of the rice. You just wanna give it a nice stir. Just like this. Perfect. And now I have 1/2 cup of dry white wine that I'm gonna add now. It's already smelling so good in here. And so you're gonna cook this. I have it about at medium heat until the rice absorbs almost all of the wine. So it's gonna happen pretty quickly. Keep stirring. All right, you can see how it's absorbed almost all of the wine. So now I have my stock that's come to a simmer and it's just staying really hot. I'm gonna take 1 ladle of the stock and add it in here. It's about 1 cup. And so I'm just gonna stir here. And so this is the process. I'm going to, add a ladle into here. I'm gonna cook it until it's absorbed almost all the liquid, but still has a little bit left. Stirring, very occasionally. And then again, once it's soaked it up, we'll add another ladle full and repeat the whole process. And so in total, it's gonna take about 20 minutes. You wanna, stay here. You don't wanna leave and go do something else. You gotta be patient with the risotto, but it's so worth it. And it's just like, kind of calm, have a good drink, put some music on, just, stay here by the pot and stir. This is looking really good. It's absorbed almost all of it, so, I'm gonna continue and add another ladle of the stock. Turn the heat down a little bit. That looks good. And you'll know when the risotto is done because you've pretty much added all of the stock or water, and when you taste the rice, it'll be tender. It won't be too tough. So that's when you know that it'll be done. So I'm just gonna continue, watching it, stirring it, adding all of the stock, and then we'll continue on with the recipe. All right, the risotto is done. I used up all of the stock and it's nice and creamy. The rice is tender, so what I'm gonna do is turn off the heat, kill that, and I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. I've got 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. I love how the lemon zest really brightens this up. Got 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 3/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and 1/4 cup of frozen peas. You can keep them frozen or you can thaw them, either works. And I'm gonna stir this all together until the butter has melted and everything is combined. It's gonna happen really fast because the risotto is very hot. Awesome. Just keep stirring. It smells amazing. And this is awesome to do 1 or 2 days before you want to make the arancini, because this has got to get cold, nice and cold in the refrigerator. So you can do this ahead of time. So much easier for you before you have to make the arancini. All right, this looks awesome. So what I have here is a baking sheet lined with some wax paper. And I'm going to put the risotto on here, and it's gonna make it so that it can chill so much faster. So I have some oven mitts right here. And put this right here. And I'm just going to dump it all on here. Perfect. And now I'm going to spread it out evenly. And it's gonna allow the risotto to cool down so much faster in the refrigerator. Awesome, so I'm gonna pop this in the fridge, and I have one that I made yesterday that's already chilled and ready to go, and then we'll continue on with the arancini. So I have my risotto that I made yesterday. It's really nice and chilled. If you didn't have time to do it overnight, you can totally just chill it for 1 to 2 hours and it'll still be fine. So now I'm going to take about 1/4 cup roughly of it and you want to kind of form into a circle. And over here I have about 2 ounces of low moisture mozzarella that I cut into little cubes. And I'm gonna stuff about 2 to 3 cubes in each ball. And then you kind of want to like seal it over so that the mozzarella is inside of the ball. And you can kind of like cover it with more risotto to help you out. And then I'm just gonna roll it into balls. And I'm gonna continue doing all of the remaining risotto. And then I'm gonna freeze them for 10 minutes, and that's going to help them get really nice and firm. So then when we bread it in the egg and flour and breadcrumbs, they're going to stick and not fall apart before we air fry them. And I'm just putting them on a plate or a baking sheet that's lined with parchment paper. You can use wax paper just so that they don't stick. All right, so my arancini have been in the freezer for about 10 minutes. I ended up with about 20 total, and so now we're going to bread them. So here I have about 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs that I just pulsed in my food processor until it turned a little bit finer crumbs. And that's just gonna help cover all of the arancini really well. And so before we get breading, I'm gonna preheat my air fryer to 380 degrees. So I'm gonna press preheat, 380, and get that going. So first we're going to dip each one in flour, then egg, and then panko. So I have a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 eggs that I've beaten, and then the 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs. So I'm gonna dip each ball into the flour, get it all nice and coated, shake off any excess, and then I'm going to put it into the egg, get it all nice and coated, and then into the panko. And it was a good thing that we put them in the freezer because it helps them really hold their shape while you're breading them, which is what you want. But if they're loose or they're not forming their shape, you can just reform it just like this with your hand. Awesome. Here we go. And arancini are traditionally deep fried. They're a traditional Sicilian dish. I'm half Sicilian, so I grew up with my nonna, which is grandma in Italian, and zias, which are aunts in Italian, making arancini, and they're so good. There's lots of different fillings you can do. My nonna would make ones that are with ground beef and a little bit of sauce in the center, which are really delicious. But I love how these are a little bit lighter, with the lemon flavor and the peas. They're really good. And air frying them makes them so much lighter and not as heavy. And nobody can ever tell that they're not deep fried. It's pretty amazing. These are looking good. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue to bread all of my arancini, and then they're ready to go into the air fryer. All right, the air fryer is preheated, so now we're gonna cook the arancini. So I've sprayed all of them all over with some oil spray. You can use olive oil spray, avocado oil spray, or whatever oil spray you like. And I'm just going to place them into the basket. You don't want them to touch each other because that'll prevent them from browning evenly everywhere, but you can fit a good amount in the basket. You'll probably have to work in 2 batches to cook all of them. Perfect. Can squeeze one more. Awesome. And these cook at 380 degrees for 15 minutes. All right, the arancini are done. Let's see how they look. Oh, they look amazing. They're perfectly golden and crispy on the outside, and they're gonna be so cheesy and delicious. I'm going to pop these onto a plate and finish cooking the remaining arancini, and then it's time to plate and dig in. All right, it's time to taste these arancini. So they look so nice, golden and crispy. You can hear how crispy they are. I'm gonna open them up to show you how they look on the inside. They look so good, full of, cheesy goodness. I'm gonna try one. So good. They're crispy and golden on the outside. They're cheesy and soft and full of flavor on the inside. They are so good. I have some, classic marinara sauce that some people like to serve them with to dip them. I personally just like to eat them plain just like this, but it's nice to have an option for your guests that you're serving them to. I hope you guys give this recipe a try and let me know in the comments below what is your favorite thing to make for New Year's Eve. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.